Hello, Ellie Duzette here, and today is day 9 of the November 2022 Eclipse portal. If you're watching this after the fact, that's still good. And you can certainly go back and watch days 1 through 8, and that will be great. There's no reason why you have to do them on these exact days. Besides that, this is when I'm making them, and it's to support us through this Eclipse portal. But the tapping scripts are still going to be helpful next week, the week after that, next year, 10 years from now. If you need those tapping scripts, they will still be helpful to you. And so I do recommend it. If you're bored, go back from the beginning, go rewatch it, do the tapping. You can do it all in a row. I think you'll be really happy about it. Okay, today the moon is transiting Saturn. Saturn, dun dun dun. Saturn is the lord of karma. And wherever Saturn is, it calls back unresolved consequences, both good and bad. So historically, Saturn has been known as the great malefic, meaning the big bad guy, because it has this tendency to bring back unresolved consequences. And as it turns out, you may have noticed, most people are not that great of people. And so when they have unresolved consequences come back, they're pretty much bad. But if you are a good person and you are consistently putting out good instead of bad, you are releasing your grudges. You are asking for forgiveness and actually changing your own inner self when you hurt other people. You're apologizing, you're making restitution, you're changing your heart, you're listening to God, you're doing your best to live in tune with the Holy Spirit every day. Like, you are going to have good consequences. And when Saturn comes back around for you, good things are going to show up. So that can actually be a really good metric of how you're doing in your life when you have a Saturn return, which is every 29 years. People's lives can kind of fall apart, or they can get pretty awesome. And it just kind of depends on what their choices have looked like before that point. What is Saturn calling back to you? And a really great example of this in, what's it called? I mean, just like popular entertainment, is Gone with the Wind. Now, Gone with the Wind was written astrologically, and it is so interesting. And I've written about this before, and I should write more about it, and I just love it. But as I was reading Gone with the Wind for the first time, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I read it and I was just totally floored at how astrological it felt. And when it ends, of course, everybody knows how it ends, right? As Rhett just doesn't care anymore. He just doesn't care. And Scarlet has, I mean, geez, she's finally had her change of heart, and it's too late, right? That's basically the end of that, and it's so famous. But anyway, it happens when she is like 28 and a half, because this book, Gone with the Wind, I mean, it is enormous. If you've seen it in real life, like, it is enormous. And geez, I could talk about it all day, but I'm like, what should I talk about? There's so many cool things to talk about Gone with the Wind. But the short version is that I read it and I was like, wow, like, what are the odds that Scarlet would have her big comeuppance right as she was entering her Saturn return? Because you start to feel the effects of your Saturn return about when you're 28, 28 and a half. And then it really comes to a full fruition over the next 2 years. And I just thought, man, this is Scarlet's Saturn return. Like, what a bummer. Like, she put a lot of crap into the universe and she like got crap back. Like, that's like a story of Gone with the Wind. She is kind of a terrible person. And then at the end, she has a terrible ending. Because, like, guess what? That's what you get when you do a bunch of bad stuff. Like, you have a bad life. So there you go. And again, not to say that everybody that has a terrible life has done a lot of bad stuff, because that's not always true. But for Scarlett O'Hara, it was basically true, right? And anyway, the point is, if you want to learn a little bit more about astrology and masculine feminine polarity, go take a look at Gone with the Wind. But be warned, you'll probably cry a lot. I told myself after I read it the first time I was never going to read it again. And now I'm like, maybe I should read it again. But I know every time I tell myself never to read stuff again, if I do read it again, I'm always like, why? Why did I do this to myself? I told myself I would never do it again. Anyway, the moon is transiting Saturn. And so it's going to draw all of our attention to where our consequences have been unresolved. And we may see that this is a time period today where things from the past that were unresolved get resolved. We may just see some surprise things show up that bring to fruition events from the past. And so some examples of that might be somebody might pay you back some money that you lent them a long time ago, or maybe you will feel called to pay someone else back. And that kind of thing. Or, you might get in trouble for something that you did a long time ago that you never made right. Or you might experience some surprise forgiveness. Like you've done all this inner work, and all of a sudden, this person in your life that was really angry with you just suddenly has a change of heart. These are all things that would be, I don't know, it wouldn't surprise me if they happened today. And this is all taking place in the sign of Aquarius, which is independent, ungovernable, revolutionary. Aquarius deals with electronics and the internet and technology and social media. And so we may see some consequences regarding technology and activism. Aquarius is like the big activist. So where have you been an activist on the internet? And what consequences will you see from that at this time? Conversely, where have you not been an activist on the internet? You knew something was wrong and you didn't say anything about it. And now what kind of consequences will we see from that? Right? So we may see some consequences of all sorts of kinds, and it'll just depend person to person what exactly we discover. Go ahead and tap, tap, tap on your forehead or collarbone, and we're going to say out loud, I easily recognize where I am experiencing karmic payback, both good and bad. I am opening my heart to recognizing where I still need to make amends with others. I remember now something I need to make right today. As I make things right, my karmic expression becomes more and more pleasant. I breathe out any ancestral karma that can be cleared now with my breath. Go ahead and put your hands on your heart and breathe it in. So I myself am a Christian. And so I know a lot of other Christians will be like, oh my gosh, if you're a Christian, you can't use the word karma. I actually love the word karma. And to me, I just feel like from a Christian perspective, it's like unrepented sin energy that is still affecting your family line and affecting you personally, right? It's just stuff that we did wrong that we haven't made right yet. And until we make it right and draw on the power of Jesus Christ's atonement, like it's just going to be stuck in our space as a negative vibration, bringing negative stuff back to us, especially with the interplay with Saturn. Like, I don't know. To me, I just love that terminology. If you don't love that terminology, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. That would be a very great way to clear your karma. But I just wanted to mention that in case anybody's wondering, like, what? Allie's using the word karma? Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. And imagine a tube of light shining down on your body that contains divine information on Saturn and Aquarius energies in your life. So this is going to just illuminate your body and kind of reprogram it with information on how to handle consequences of activism, consequences of inactivism when we were in not doing action. This is going to just help our bodies and spirits kind of figure out, how do we handle this energy in a safe and appropriate way? How do we do it in a way that's going to make God proud, that's going to make us proud? And we're just going to feel that, reorganizing any information within us that needs to be reorganized according to God's divine perspective. So it's very safe. We don't have to worry about doing it ourselves. We just have to sit back and let the divine take care of it, our creator. Go ahead and breathe it in. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You can come and hang out with me on Facebook at Intuitive Healing with Allie Duzette. Today's recommended session with the Eclipse portal is Resetting Polarity. And this is one of the most foundational sessions that I have. It is just really good for everything, because when your polarity is off, you yourself become off, okay? Like your whole system can have a lot of problems. All of our bodies are electromagnetic, and that's how your cells work. That's how your cell walls open and close. It's all run on voltage and electricity. And so when your voltage is off, when your electric flow is off, you have problems. So resetting polarity just helps you reset the flow so that all of your cells can function better. It makes your intuition more accurate, because when your polarity is off, everything just gets wonky and it's just really hard to tell what is accurate and what is not accurate. It makes it so, when your polarity is off, it just makes it so that any kind of healing work that you do for yourself I don't know, it makes it harder for it to go through because your electric voltage is off. You know, if you can solve the problem of your electrical voltage, everything in your whole life just becomes a lot easier. So I hope that you check that out. It's at allyduzetclasses.com. And come and hang out on Facebook. There will be a link in there, and people will hopefully be sharing their experiences with that session today. So that will be very fun and enlightening, especially if you haven't done a session before. That is one session that I recommend before doing any other session. You deserve to heal, resetting polarity, calling back your personal power, and the grounding session. Those sessions to me are just so foundational. And if you do those first, it's going to make your whole rest of your healing journey and the whole rest of your life just like so much easier and better. So I really hope that you look into it. And okay, that's all for today. Thank you for being here. You're rocking it. I hope that you feel really proud of yourself. You can just breathe it in, that you are doing amazing stuff, and I'm really proud of you. So thanks for being here and have a great day.